This week in rural New Zealand, when everything happens at once. G'day. If you were hoping for a quiet week, not happening. Dairy's bouncing, meat processors are crying out for stock, and the weather's doing what it does best, costing you money and making life difficult. Let's get into it. GDT goes off. Dairy prices jump 6.7%. Right, the big number first. Global dairy trade auctions smashed it. Overall index up 6.7%, and it's not just one product carrying the team. Whole milk powder up 5.3%, skim milk powder up a bloody impressive 10.6%, butter up 8.8%, and AMF up 5%. Average price across all products sitting around $3,830 per tonne, with whole milk powder at about 3,614. Now, this isn't just a pretty chart to stick on the fridge. This is actual market demand getting stronger across the board. When nearly everything's climbing together, it's usually a more solid signal than one random spike. What's it mean for you? Well, psychologically, the market stops feeling like it's perpetually stuffed. And when prices are moving like this, processors have less excuse to slash their milk price forecasts at the first sign of trouble. Does one auction guarantee you a good payout? Course not, but it shifts expectations in the right direction, especially when everyone's wondering if we'll see the forecast back above $10. Meat sector, good prices, but where's the stock? Flip side of the coin, red meat's got a supply problem. According to Farmers Weekly, prime stock's trickling into the works slowly. They reckon lamb and mutton volumes will pick up February through March and beef around mid-March. Why? Good grass. Farmers are holding stock longer, finishing them properly, not rushing to offload. Smart play while conditions are good, and it's keeping prices solid. But processors are getting twitchy about throughput, the numbers. Down in Otago and Southland, store lambs are going for about $140 to $200 a head. That's $25 to $50 up on last year. AgriHQ's got prime lamb indicator around $10.95 per kilo in the North Island, $10.85 in the South. But here's the catch, and there's always a catch. Export prices are holding, but demand's softening on some lamb cuts. Plus, the strong US dollar and our Kiwi dollar strengthening are already eating into exporter returns in New Zealand dollar terms. That pressure's going to show up in schedules pretty soon. The play for farmers is simple. While you've got grass, finishing heavier makes sense. But the window can slam shut fast when currency shifts and demand drops post-peak season. Keep an eye on schedules through February-March. Watch what happens around Easter demand, and don't get caught holding when the music stops. Weather, turning farms into disaster zones. Now the weather, because this is where good plans turn into expensive nightmares. East Coast? Absolutely hammered. RNZ reports farms are cut off, land and infrastructure damaged, water systems and culverts munted, fences down everywhere. Farmers can't even reach their own stock in some cases. Beef and lambs doing the rounds assessing damage, and the big worry is feed. If pastures and crops aren't sorted before winter, you're looking at a whole separate feed crisis on top of everything else. Northland? Even worse. Around 2,000 head of cattle are being evacuated from Hikurangi Swamp after heavy rain flooded up to 3,000 hectares. Pastures are either dead or dying. They're trucking cattle to more than a dozen different locations. We're talking 30-odd truckloads from some farms. And these aren't just any cattle. They're heavily pregnant cows due to calve in March for winter milking. The plan's to bring them back mid-March before calving starts, if conditions allow. Big if. What's it cost? Transport, temporary grazing, water and feed logistics, biosecurity between sites, plus the risk of stuffing up your calving calendar and stressing already pregnant cows. Not exactly cheap, and the stress on stock doesn't help production outcomes. The trigger to watch? How fast the water clears and pastures recover, plus infrastructure access on the East Coast before the winter feed window hits. Sinlet's half-year loss, 77 to 82 million. Sinlet's forecasting a net loss of $77 to $82 million for the first half. Reasons? Production headaches at their Dunsandel plant and weaker commodity returns. They reckon the production issues are mostly sorted now, but the hangover's real. They've had to rejig production plans mid-season, rebuild product inventories, and ended up selling more raw milk than planned, which absolutely kills your margins and efficiency. There's an insurance claim in play, but amounts and timing aren't confirmed yet. Why should you care if you're not supplying Sinlet? Because when a processor's forced to dump raw milk and scramble to fix production schedules, it creates flow-on effects across the whole chain. Capacity constraints, product mix issues, contract reliability. It doesn't mean your milk price takes a hit tomorrow morning, but it's instability in the system. Watch for their Northern asset sale closing April 1st and how their banking syndicate responds. That'll tell you if they're stable or still firefighting. MPI's fiddling with vet medicine labels. Yes, really. Last one's regulatory but actually matters. MPI, that's New Zealand Food Safety, is consulting on updated guidance for vet medicine labelling. Comments close February 15th, 2026. Sounds boring as hell until you remember labels equal usage instructions, warnings, and legal compliance. Updates cover stuff like internal teat sealants, external parasiticides, teat sanitizers, standard label statements, and rules about websites and QR codes on packaging. If they tighten things up, products might get new labels, different instructions, changed storage requirements. That flows through to staff training, so they're not just treating from memory, farm records so they match actual use, and coordination with suppliers and vets. Trigger to watch? Consultation closes, then final guidance gets published. Matters more than you'd think when the compliance officer shows up. If this was useful, chuck us a like and subscribe. Helps keep the news coming regularly. Stay safe out there, and don't let the weather win.